degrees.
And it's flame resistant. With non-slip silicone grips, it really helps me hang on to slippery dishes. I use it with hot dinner plates, even ceramic bakeware. In my kitchen, I always make sure it's the Elf Glove.
Available at Target, Walgreens, CVS, and Kmart.
Capital Carpet and Tile is a family-run business since 1985. And we know that we must go above and beyond with customer service so that every customer is a raving fan of ours. Our goal is to have you, our local customer, be so unbelievably happy with our products, service, and prices that you truly are raving fans and telling all your friends about us. At Capital Carpet and Tile, we're committed to your complete and total satisfaction. I personally guarantee it. And this is why I say, why would you buy from anyone else?
Tonight, the governor of Illinois returns to work under a cloud of corruption charges. But President-elect Obama says he's got to go. And Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. denies any wrongdoing in the competition for that vacant Senate seat. I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, the auto bailout plan. Democrats push to get it passed in the House, but Republicans say it won't get through the Senate. We revisit a town in the heart of America, hard hit by the recession.
So they're not hiring right now because business is slow.
And how far we've come. A mansion built by slaves, soon to be the home of our first African-American president.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
And good evening, everyone. Barack Obama put out the word today. He wants the governor of his home state to resign. But aside from that, he's trying to stay as far away as he can from the scandal in Illinois. Still, questions are being raised about what contacts, if any, Mr. Obama and his staff may have had with the governor about that vacant Senate seat Blagojevich is accused of trying to sell. From Chicago tonight, here's Dean Reynolds with the latest.
Okay, there's your skyline with the clouds.
A dark cloud hung over Chicago this morning as Governor Rod Blagojevich made his way to work. And longtime observers of the political climate here wonder whether that shadow will fall on Barack Obama.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when in Washington he's compelled to speak. Will he be able to avoid this?
This is what prompted Obama to call today for Blagojevich's resignation. Spokesman Robert Gibbs said under the current circumstances, it's difficult for the governor to effectively do his job and serve the people of Illinois, adding that Obama now favors a move by the state legislature to strip the power to appoint a successor from this governor. There has been no hint from prosecutors of any wrongdoing by Obama. Indeed, Blagojevich was heard on the tapes repeatedly disparaging and even cursing the president-elect for not playing politics his way. But there remain some inconsistencies about the extent of the contacts between the two and their associates. Yesterday, Obama said this.
Contact with the governor or his office, and so I was not aware of what was happening.
But 3 weeks ago, Obama's top aide, David Axelrod, said this.
I know he's talked to the governor, and, you know, there are a whole range of names, many of which have surfaced.
Axelrod said later he'd misspoken, but it raises the question then that if there were no contacts, how did Blagojevich know that Obama would not play the favors game?
If the descriptions of these contacts come out differently over time, that will raise suspicions.
It's likely now that investigators will want to hear from transition officials, especially Chicagoans like Axelrod and future Obama Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel, who have past associations with Blagojevich. And there are those potential Senate successors, including candidate number 5 in the affidavit, Illinois Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr., who's identified as one Blagojevich expected to pay for his appointment. The two men met for 90 minutes the day before Blagojevich was arrested. Today, Jackson said he's done nothing wrong.
I never sent a message or an emissary to the governor to make an offer, to plead my case, or to propose a deal about a U.S. Senate seat, period.
And it's important to keep in mind that prosecutors here are still asking the public for information to build their case, suggesting the sheer audacity of the steps that the governor may have allegedly been taking forced them to move against him before all of the legal loose ends were tied up. Katie?
And Dean, the federal prosecutor who filed the criminal complaint, Patrick Fitzgerald, successfully prosecuted Scooter Libby, the top aide to Vice President Dick Cheney. Is he expected to follow this investigation all the way through?
Well, he's a very popular figure in the state. He successfully prosecuted the previous governor of Illinois, so he's popular here with the public, if not all the politicians. Katie?
All right. Dean Reynolds. Dean, thank you very much. Governor Blagojevich turned 52 today. Not exactly the best of birthdays. His once promising political career now in shambles.
The duties of the office of governor.
Rod Blagojevich was living the American dream. The child of a Serbian immigrant, he worked odd jobs and paid his way through college and law school. As a Cook County prosecutor, he was known for being tough on crimes like drunk driving and domestic abuse. In 1988, he met his future wife, Patricia Mell, the daughter of a prominent political fundraiser. The stars aligned for a congressional run in 1996, and Blagojevich won the House seat vacated 2 years earlier by Dan Rostenkowski, who'd left in disgrace and served 15 months in prison for mail fraud. In 2002, running as a reformer, Democrat Blagojevich pulled off an upset in the gubernatorial race, succeeding Republican George Ryan, whose administration was rocked by scandal. But soon the new governor's administration was under investigation for everything from hiring practices to fundraising. And charges were brought against several of his top fundraisers, including real estate developer Tony Rezko. The governor's arrest was the culmination of a political ride from hometown hero to America's least popular governor, with a recent approval rating of just 4%. And while he may be the nation's least popular governor, he's been the most popular news story these past 2 days. Headline writers are having a field day. The Boston Herald calling it Crook instead of Cook County, and the website Politico nicknaming the governor Payrod. But it is no laughing matter to his constituents, as Cynthia Bowers reports.
Illinois barely had time to bask in the glow of Obama's victory before politics as usual stole the story.
It's very disappointing to be, I think, recognized as one of the most corrupt states in the nation.
It's terrible, it's awful, and it's true.
Even here, where the last governor is in the slammer, the charges against this one shock even the most cynical citizens.
Chicago is known for corruption in the political system, and you have to be doing a pretty terrible job to get caught.
The whole world was listening. Is this the dumbest guy ever?
This time, the state's dirty laundry isn't just local news. This sordid story has gone global. It's perfect fodder for the late-night comics.
It's not such a great day for the entire state of Illinois. Their governor was arrested today. The governor!
Former Governor Jim Edgar, whose legacy does not include jail time, says this hurts, particularly with Chicago in the running to host the 2016 Olympics.
I think everyone in public office in Illinois has to realize they have to go the extra mile to be as clean as possible.
Nobody trusts the governor to fill the very Senate seat he's accused of trying to sell, leaving few possibilities. One option is a special election that could cost taxpayers well over $30 million.
A special election is costly, I know, but the alternative of a vacancy or a tainted appointment, those alternatives are not acceptable.
And neither, many say, is allowing Governor Blagojevich to remain in office. There is talk of impeachment if he refuses to resign.
What did you call him?
Blagojevich.
Blagojevich, I like.
Which some say might be funny if it weren't so sad. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Chicago.
Now to Washington and the auto industry bailout plan. The House could vote on it tonight, but Bob Orr reports it may stall in the Senate.
With the multi-billion-dollar auto bailout package still on the political assembly line, opponents on Capitol Hill are railing against what they call a taxpayer-funded travesty.
Unless Chrysler, Ford, and General Motors become lean and innovative and competitive in the marketplace, this is only delaying their funeral.
Senate Republicans threatened to stall the deal, while Democratic leaders in the White House pushed even harder to provide up to $14 billion in emergency loans. Automakers would be under the thumb of a presidentially appointed car czar. That car czar could veto industry expenditures and even pull the plug on the whole bailout if automakers don't submit restructuring plans by March 31st. spelling out how they'd become more viable, competitive, and energy efficient. With General Motors warning it could be broke in 2 weeks, Democrats bowed to the White House and backed off demands that car companies give up lawsuits challenging higher fuel efficiency standards. That seemed to resolve a major sticking point, clearing the way for a House vote as early as tonight.
The cost to our economy of failure of one or more of these companies will be stark.
But the auto lifeline still faces bigger hurdles in the Senate, where opponents say taxpayer money should not be spent up front before the industry is forced to make changes.
Isn't that putting the cart before the horse? Isn't that, to use a common phrase, just ass backwards?
The White House sent Vice President Cheney and Chief of Staff Josh Bolton to the Hill today to twist Republican arms, but we're told they didn't have much luck. Katie?
Bob Orton, Washington. Thank you, Bob. Convincing Congress may be the easy part, but Anthony Mason tells us the real problem for the big three automakers could be selling Americans on American cars.
At the Consumer Reports track in Connecticut, the new Chevy Malibu is taken on a challenging test drive. In its latest issue, the magazine recommends the Malibu. And during the congressional bailout hearings last week, Ford CEO Alan Mulally bragged,
"Every one of our new vehicles now is equal to or better than the competition."
Detroit's big three have made big gains in quality, says the man who test drives these cars for Consumer Reports. But they still have some catching up to do.
The top cars are still coming from basically Honda and Toyota.
In the magazine's latest survey of owner satisfaction, the top 27 ranked automobiles included only 3 from the big three: 2 Chevy Corvette models and the Cadillac CTS. And a new brand loyalty survey by J.D. Power shows nearly 2/3 of Honda and Toyota owners stick with the same manufacturer when buying a new car. But only half of Ford and Chevy buyers do. And for Chrysler, it's just 1/3.
You really, in today's day and age, need to have everything spot on for a car to be successful in the market.
So Detroit desperately needs an overnight sensation, but the industry, which must sell 15 million autos a year to be profitable, is on pace to sell only 11 million.
Are these plans that the automakers put on the table enough?
To return them to profitability and viability long term, no. They've done a lot of work in the product portfolio, but still more needs to be done, and it needs to be accelerated.
But developing a new car takes years of design and planning. To climb back to the top of the market, Detroit needs what now seems to be slipping away: time. Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
And still ahead on the CBS Evening News, when we visited these employees at a struggling Midwest restaurant 2 months ago, they were told to find new jobs. We'll see how they're doing next.
Healthy beauty is the journey, and the first step is healthy skin. Create healthy skin for life with Aveeno Daily Lotion. This exclusive oat formula is proven to actually improve skin's health in 1 day with significant improvement in 2 weeks. Aveeno Daily Moisturizing Lotion.
Drink more V8 vegetable juice now. Have more fun when you're 80.
I have high blood pressure, and I was surprised to learn that it may have led to my erectile dysfunction. That's when my doctor told me about Levitra.
Certain medical conditions, including high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol, can decrease blood flow, which may lead to ED.
That was news to me. And my doctor told me Levitra could help.
Levitra works by increasing blood flow to help treat ED.
Levitra works for me. Maybe it can work for you.
Ask your doctor if you are healthy enough for sexual activity. If you have heart problems, are on alpha blocker therapy, or have uncontrolled high blood pressure, talk to your doctor before taking Levitra. Do not take Levitra if you take nitrates for chest pains, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, and stuffy or runny nose. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss of vision or hearing, stop taking Levitra and call your doctor right away. Ask your doctor if Levitra is right for you.
Tired of morning coming in the middle of the night? Ask your prescriber about 2-layer Ambien CR. The first layer dissolves quickly to help you fall asleep, and unlike other sleep aids, a second dissolves slowly to help you stay asleep. Until you know how ambient CR will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Plan to devote 7 to 8 hours to sleep before being active. Sleepwalking and eating or driving while not fully awake with amnesia for the event have been reported. In rare cases, severe allergic reactions can occur. If you experience any of these behaviors or reactions, contact your doctor immediately. Side effects may include next-day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. It's non-narcotic and can be taken for as long as your prescriber recommends. Like most sleep aids, it has some risk of dependency. Don't take it with alcohol. To wake up ready for your day, ask your prescriber for 2-layer ambient CR.
Few people have been hit harder by this recession than restaurant workers across the country. Many eateries are struggling just to stay open, including one we visited earlier this fall in Elkhart, Indiana. Back then, the owners were telling employees to look for other jobs. As we promised, Seth Doan went back to see how they're doing as he continues our series, The Other America.
We were there in October.
All across the country, this is happening.
When workers at the Dakota restaurant got the bad news.
I know there ain't too many jobs out there, but maybe we all should start looking for jobs.
They'd soon be out of work if business did not improve.
We're really trying to hang on here for the employees, and it's not going to make it.
Since then, the Meert family, who's owned this restaurant and catering business for 14 years, has almost depleted their personal savings to make payroll, almost $3,000 a week.
I think we ought to get the help together and just tell them it just can't go on.
Pat Andrews, the day cook, has been looking for work since we left.
Now, there isn't anything in here. I'm not going to be a gentleman's club hire dancer either.
Every morning she scans the classifieds in vain. Nationwide, more than 180,000 full-service restaurant workers have lost their jobs since July.
When you go in to apply, what do they say?
So they're not hiring right now because business is slow.
That's the story across Elkhart, where layoffs in the once dominant RV industry have produced unemployment rates that top 12%.
Good girl.
Waitress Janet Adams' husband lost his RV job earlier this year.
I figure if I don't find anything soon, maybe just enrolling in some college courses.
Janet has thought of studying business so she could open her own bakery. For now, she's making the most of what they have.
I want to put Daddy's right here.
It's not real expensive to keep them fed. It's just something else that adds to the ongoing bills.
Server Brandon Williams has been looking for work the longest.
And even the days that I work, business just hasn't been there. So I haven't really been making the money that I need.
He's thought about leaving home and his horses to find work. A good bet could be the states with the lowest unemployment: North and South Dakota, Utah, Wyoming, and Nebraska.
How was it letting go?
Bittersweet.
Restaurant owner Glenn Meert is leaving town. He's the only one to get a new job.
I will be over a food service facility and a correctional facility. Recession-proof business. There's always going to be jails.
He's relocating to Cincinnati and hoping he can sell his house here. He also hopes those in his restaurant family will be just as lucky and find work soon. Seth Doan, CBS News, Elkhart, Indiana.
The owners of the Dakota say they probably won't make it to the end of the year, but we're staying in touch and we'll keep you updated. In other news, an update on Monday's fighter jet crash in San Diego. The man whose entire family was killed when the F-18 crashed into his house went to the scene for the first time last evening. Dong Yun Yoon lost his wife, mother-in-law, and 2 baby girls. He said he doesn't blame the pilot who survived, but as military jets flew overhead, he pleaded for advice on how to cope with his loss.
I know there are many people who have experienced more terrible things. But please tell me how to do it, because I don't know what to do.
Feeling stuffed up?
unstuff yourself with Afrin No Drip. It's got the best medicine to open nasal passages. Afrin, the best stuff to unstuff.
I'm Mark Goldston, Chairman and CEO of Net Zero. All internet providers take you to the same internet, so why pay more to get there? Net Zero is only $9.95 a month, and we give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
If you've had a heart attack caused by a completely blocked artery, another heart attack could be lurking, waiting to strike. A heart attack caused by a clot, one that could be fatal. But Plavix helps save lives. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, goes beyond what other heart medicines do alone to provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke and even death by helping to keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots. Ask your doctor about Plavix, protection that helps save lives.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase, so tell your doctor before planning surgery. And always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. If you develop fever or unexplained weakness or confusion, tell your doctor promptly, as these may be signs of a rare but potentially life-threatening condition called TTP, which has been reported rarely, sometimes in less than 2 weeks after starting therapy. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
Today I found out that my funny bone is sick and that my drug plan's monthly premium changed. So I compared other plans and found similar coverage at a better price.
Now's the time to review and compare Medicare prescription drug plans. And from November 15th to December 31st, you can even change your plan. Call 1-800-MEDICARE or go to Medicare.gov and use the Plan Finder to see options in your state.
Your funny bone is better now. And so is my prescription drug plan.
West Best Jewelers is celebrating their 20th anniversary. Come take advantage of 20th anniversary savings and extended hours just in time for the holidays. Choose from certified diamonds, antique and contemporary styles. Open from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Saturday at 2602 South Dixie Highway. We're on the web at westbestjewelers.com. Fine art at West Best, featuring original works of art by Ursula Fernandez.
The political conventions are back in the news tonight. They cost a bundle to put on, but the two parties got plenty of help from friends in high places, the same friends who later went to Washington in search of a bailout. Cheryl Atkinson follows the money.
As the financial crisis reached a crescendo, key players in the bailouts were donating big bucks to the party conventions. Because while companies and unions are barred from giving directly to candidates, they can curry favor through unlimited contributions to the biggest parties in politics. Steve Weissman's Campaign Finance Institute crunched the numbers from newly filed reports.
They know that they need some political support.
Freddie Mac had just posted an $800 million loss, but managed to come up with $500,000 for the conventions. While AIG was going down the tubes, it dropped $1.5 million on the conventions. That's equal to what AIG interests had given in strictly limited direct donations to candidates and parties the previous 4 years. AIG has since gotten $112 billion in taxpayer help. Also shelling out were lots of banks that have gotten bailout funds. As far as companies involved in the auto bailout, Ford donated $200,000. GM, struggling for survival, provided 735 new cars to shuttle around VIPs. Key players in the economic crisis ponied up $14 million for the conventions. They may not have had money to burn, but when it came to political access, they found money to spare. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, Washington.
Still ahead, Barack Obama is about to make history in a residence that is filled with it. The story of the house that slaves built, next.
Drinking V8 vegetable juice every day may lower your risk of ever acting your age.
Discover a new calm for your sensitive skin. Aveeno Ultra Calming Moisturizer. This exclusive formula with natural feverfew has the power to visibly soothe red, irritated skin in as little as 1 week. Be at peace with your skin with Aveeno Ultra Calming.
First, we dig a hole next to the house and check for clogged pipes. If that's not it, we dig by the septic tank.
check for leaks. If it's not there, we dig up the leach fields till we find the problem. This 60-year-old tree might have to go. Average repair cost, $6,000. Monthly maintenance with Red X, about $6.
Red X uses 100% natural bacteria and enzymes to break down waste, even paper. Use Red X monthly to help keep your septic system operating efficiently between pumpings.
When the moment is right, Cialis gives men with erectile dysfunction options so they can be ready. 36-hour Cialis or Cialis for daily use. Cialis for daily use is a clinically proven low-dose tablet for ED you take every day, so you can be ready anytime the moment is right. Or there's the option of 36-hour Cialis. So relax. Either way, you can be ready with Cialis.
Tell your doctor about your medical condition and all medications, and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away.
36-hour Cialis or Cialis for daily use. Ask your doctor if a Cialis option is right for you, so when the moment is right, you can be ready.
This is a Centrum multivitamin, complete from A to zinc. This is CoroWise, a natural ingredient that can lower cholesterol. Put them together and you get Centrum Cardio, the first and only complete multivitamin that can lower cholesterol. Centrum Cardio.
Burning, itching. I should have used Preparation H.
And for extra relief, use Preparation H medicated wipes first. Unlike most ordinary wipes, they relieve while you clean. Then use maximum strength cream. Preparation H, the relief expert.
The stage is set for big winnings.
For $250,000.
This week on Millionaire.
Tonight at 7:30 on CBS 12.
Finally tonight, in just 41 days, Barack Obama will move into the White House as the first African-American president of the United States. That occasion is all the more momentous when you consider who built the mansion. Some history now from our chief White House correspondent, Jim Axelrod.
These sounds take over the front of the White House every 4 years. But this time around, there's something more poignant about them.
We're surrounded by workmen here, and they're getting the Obama review stand ready. Fair to say there would have been slaves right here a couple hundred years ago?
Certainly. It's not new to William Bouchong of the White House Historical Association, but many of the rest of us may be surprised to learn that slaves built much of the White House.
Where was Washington, D.C. placed, and it's right smack in the middle of between two states that were slaveholding states, Maryland and Virginia.
Right here, 200 years ago, there were brick kilns, woodworking sheds, tents for sleeping. It was a slave village. The distance between living out here and inside there can't be measured in yards.
This is the stack area 9W4.
3 weeks ago, the National Archives' Reginald Washington saw these 200-year-old wage records for the first time.
They're paying to Mr. James Claggett for the hire of a Negro, George.
Shedding light on an especially symbolic chapter of what's been called our nation's original sin.
This N here stands for Negroes.
We learn more about James Hoban, the architect of the White House, who also had 3 slaves working.
And usually they're going to list the Negroes only by their given name.
But we don't learn much about Ben, Harry, and Daniel. Just their 23 days worked and 14 pounds 19 shillings earned. All of it paid to their master, of course.
The slave owners were paid for the services of their slaves, just as they were paid for the services of their horses or wagon.
In his 30 years at the archives, nothing's ever hit Reginald Washington quite as profoundly as these documents.
They never could imagine in their wildest dreams that a man of color or an African American would one day sit in the White House itself, where they toiled to build this.
Less than 6 weeks from now, those wildest dreams come true. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, the White House.
And that is the CBS Evening News for tonight. I'm Katie Couric. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
With a tough, highly skilled interviewer that gets answers, the strongest, most informative, best news broadcast is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
planning for the